Betsy, what should we do when we think we are a victim of identity theft?
If you think you are a victim of identity theft, you have to take action and take it quickly. So the first thing you need to do is contact the credit reporting agencies. These are the people who keep records of how you pay your bills and the accounts that are open in your name. So you contact them and you let them know that you believe that you are or may become a victim of identity theft, and they should put a fraud alert on your file. We can talk a little bit more about that later. The second thing you need to do is contact the financial institutions where the accounts were opened in your name or may have been used, a credit card account used in your name or withdrawals from your bank account. Contact that company. Probably you want to do it quickly by phone initially, but follow up by mail, certified letter sent to them, and keep good records of everything that you've done. The third thing that you need to do is contact your local police department. You're a victim of a crime, and you need to have a record of this. When you go to the police, explain to them in detail what has happened and ask for a copy of a police report, and that's going to be essential down the line.
I was just going to say, that's important.
Yeah. Right. And finally, the fourth thing you need to do is contact the Federal Trade Commission. We have a lot of resources for victims of identity theft, the steps that they need to take towards recovery and how to minimize the increased harm to themselves, and lots of tools for them to follow. We also have an online complaint form and a toll-free number for victims to use. But those are the 4 steps.
Okay, and you need documentation, and how many of those cases?
Well, every time you send out a letter, you should keep a copy of the letter. You need to keep a copy of any documents that are indicative of the fraud. That is, you may have gotten actually a bill from a credit card account that was opened fraudulently in your name. Of course, you need to keep that and keep meticulous records of every step that you take, from contacting the police to contacting the financial institutions, so that if any question arises, you can establish what you've done and when.
Paper trail, okay.
Yeah.
Well, financial institutions are certainly an important aspect of that, Nessa, and what can we expect?
As Betsy said, you want to contact the financial institution as quickly as possible, phone them, and then follow up with a letter. What you'll expect is, in most cases, they'll have to close the account. Now, if it's an account that's been misused, maybe unauthorized debit card transactions, or some sort of access to an account that the victim did open, this means they'll probably have to get new checks, new debit card and PIN, or if it's a credit card account, new credit card, new online passwords, etc. For some people, they may have to take some additional steps. Many people have arranged to have certain payments, their mortgage payment, their utility payments, automatically deducted from their checking account electronically or paid by credit card each month. They need to contact those people to ensure that their payments continue and that they're not late and don't run into some trouble there. So they need to contact those companies with the new information. In other cases where the fraudsters opened an account that the victim was unaware of, or they've really taken over an account with prolonged use, maybe they've changed the address, that's a little bit more serious. The account, of course, will be closed, but presumably you don't want a new account number. But in those cases, you do want to place an alert on your credit report so that when another creditor gets an application, they will know to take a couple extra steps to ensure that the person who's applying for credit is, in fact, that person. And it's also a good idea in those cases to pull your credit report on a periodic basis to ensure that no other new accounts have been opened in your name and that the fraudulent accounts are no longer being reported. Time is of the essence. The FTC studies and other studies have shown that when the identity theft is caught quickly, there is less inconvenience, there is less cost for everyone. So time is absolutely of the essence. I would also recommend very much the FTC website. There's a lot of good information in there. They have the affidavit. They have other tips on how to prevent identity theft and also what to do if you're a victim of identity theft.
I think they have sample letters, too, that you can send to the institutions, you know, as part of the package, so you know how to...
We believe that the best way for consumers to resolve these issues is to take control of them themselves. So as you say, Paul, there are sample letters to send to creditors and the credit reporting agencies to dispute fraudulent accounts. There are affidavits that Nessa referred to that you can use, again, a standard affidavit that you can use for multiple creditors or financial institutions to dispute these fraudulent accounts. We want to make it easier for victims to work through what is a very stressful situation.
I would just add about the affidavit. The affidavit is a very good start, and the financial institutions appreciate the uniform affidavit, but victims should also expect that they'll probably have to supplement that affidavit with other information about the specifics of the transaction, the specifics of the account, and that could vary depending on the situation.
Betsy? Nessa talked about the financial institutions. Give us a little more detail about how we deal with the credit bureaus in an instance like this.
They're key players if you're a victim of identity theft. So there are 3 major credit reporting agencies, and if you realize that your information has been obtained and can be misused or actually has been misused, let's say your wallet is stolen and in it contain documents with your social security number, date of birth, you may want to put an alert on your credit file, because someone could use that information and use it to commit identity theft. We used to think that if your wallet was stolen, the worst thing that could happen is that they take your money. It's now a little more treacherous because they have your information, which also can be misused. So there are 3 major credit reporting agencies, and you need to make sure that each of them place an alert on your file, on your credit file. The good news is you only have to call one of them. Now, the FTC's website that Nessa referred to is at consumer.gov/ID theft. And on it, we list the contact information for the 3 major credit reporting agencies. You call one of them and you say, my information has been obtained. I feel like I'm at risk for fraud. Please put a fraud alert on my file. That agency will contact the other 2 and transmit to them the request for the fraud alert. So you only have to make the 1 phone call. After the alert is in place, they will also make available to you a free copy of your credit report.